Hey guys, this will be the quickest video ever. I just wanted to tell you how I rectified this problem with the gap that I had up here. I was thinking I might have to shave back in here and create a new stencil and have that problem where, you know, I cut 3 pieces out of 1 hair piece, which is really, you know, cheaper for me to do that. And I thought I might have to cut longer ones so I could go further back, and then I was worried I'd have to build some elaborate mirror system, maybe wear a backpack with something that's shrunk and then see 45-degree angle and just do it like that or something, or rig up something from the ceiling that came down, or go sideways into a slanty mirror. But it works out that it's quite invisible now with my hair at this current length, and I think that I first started growing it back in I think the last time I shaved it off fully was April, I think, and it's now middle of July, so that's so let's just say April, May, June. Yeah, probably 4 months. 4 months sounds right. This is 4 months length, which is 1.5 inches now. 1.5 inches being the magic number for inches in terms of hair length and growth and so on. So this hair color is medium dark brown as opposed to medium brown, which was a lot lighter. So this blends with my natural hair a lot better in all types of lighting, and I think that it's quite undetectable under these circumstances. The hairline's dirty, but I've just been letting it flop, so hopefully nobody noticed that at school today. But yeah, I don't know. I think whether I had bald head or not, I guess they're just learning to live with me the way I am no matter what happens. I don't know, maybe they seem to be treating me nicer. New people treat me nicer, obviously, because, you know, bald people don't get treated as well by strangers. I'm just gonna have to retouch this bit up a bit. I've just been using Walker Ultra Hold, but soon I'm going to have to try to experiment with some Swiss lace. And the thickest density you can get with Swiss lace is medium light density, which I've always found to be the most realistic for the front hairline. But given that my hair is now long enough that I can just flop it forward at all times, I'm kind of happy that I've got a medium density, just so I can conceal the glue. And also it's winter, so I haven't got any real trouble with ultra shininess coming through and melting of the glue in any of the conditions that I'm facing. You might hear the whistling of the wind outside, it's pretty windy. And the temperature is probably about 12 degrees Celsius or less. Sun's going down, so probably 9 degrees Celsius. At night time it's about 4 degrees Celsius. And where I was the other day, it was about -1 degree Celsius. So that's obviously freezing. It's winter time here. And I didn't have to make my stencil any bigger, even after I shaved off a tiny bit of that stuff there. That's all I had to really do. Because there were some gaps here and here. And once I shaved that little bit extra, about 3 mils back, I just made sure I cut to the outside edges of that stencil to maximize the size that it already was, and then stuck it on, and it comes down to the right level here at the front. So I didn't have to change the stencil, luckily. I was too tired for it, as I am now actually. And I'm just lifting off this entire front hairpiece because I made quite a mess of it. When I applied the glue, I just went way over and was gluing down onto the forehead, and I spent the last few days just trying to rub it off. You've really got to be delicate with the application of glue, and if you can follow some instructions from somebody else and not me, because I'm not very neat about it, I would highly recommend that you get the glue right the first time and stop missing and having to clean it up all the time. So if you can get a nice thick kind of layer of glue right there at the front hairline, that means you don't have to mess around with it like I'm constantly having to. Like you can see that bit there is overhung, like I'm sorry, not overhung. The glue is overshot its mark. I need to come up with a new vocabulary for all this stuff. So basically, the problem was solved in terms of that back arc, where the natural shave point, I need vocabulary, where this natural shave point meets the hairline, there was an unnecessary amount of staggering going on in terms of there was a cut and then there were a couple of little bits that were still balding that I hadn't cut out from the recessions. So basically my recessions went like that, right? Like this. That's all thinning around the front there, but majorly the recessions go like that. But the recessions are actually going more like that, like more of a peak. And I hadn't quite chopped out those top two little peaky bits, which were just thinning, right? So once I shaved back to that point, which was an extra 3 mils back, that's when I could just place on this new hairpiece, which is number 4, medium dark brown. So as usual now, I'll just place this back on and touch up the front hairline with new glue. Now that I've peeled off all that excess unsightly dirty glue. By the way, glue gets dirty after 1 day, but it's on your forehead. Also, the other thing that I was experimenting with when I applied this new hairpiece was having some of the netting, which runs around the perimeter of the entire hairpiece, as part of this hairpiece. So I was actually letting the netting come forward past where the hairline ends, just to see how it blended out. But the thing was, the netting became visible. This is French lace, but I'm quite certain that any sort of netting, doesn't matter if it's Swiss or French lace, I think they'd both be visible. And I don't think that it would be wise to have what people consider to be a graduated hairline, for the simple purpose that netting is completely visible on a forehead. It'd be netting, right, and then glue just shining straight through it. Right there at the top. You'd have to, it wouldn't look natural. There's no way to achieve it. You'd have to use some sort of invisible glue, and I've never seen one. And the netting is visible anyway. Unless somebody's just like, oh, hello, I need my glasses. It's like, that's fine, now you can see me just like I'm underwater, that's perfect. No, it wouldn't look right. I think that maybe you go with a wall of hair, but if you're gonna work back, a wall of hair that's made out of medium light density. And the lace type would probably be improved by having Swiss lace because it's thinner. There'd be less of a lip there for you to catch it on. But I don't think that a net coming around the front there with only hairs every so often would be concealed. The hair itself coming out of the netting conceals the netting. And the hair also acts to conceal the glue when you're looking down into somebody's hairline at the front. You can prove me wrong. Show me a nice close-up of that working, and I'll take my words back. I'm open to being wrong. In my experience, the netting was quite visible. That's why I'm chopping off a little bit of that extra netting right now. Because I don't think netting is a good look. It's a pity that the poly was so problematic. And I think the main complaint, aside from that bit up here that needed to be absolutely cut to perfection and blended exactly, which would be achievable if somebody else were to get on top of your head and do it nicely. But doing it myself, that was hard. Although I think I could probably learn how to do it with practice. But the problem was the V-loops. They didn't look real. They looked like I was a robot. Like my hair was not naturally coming out of my scalp. Whereas I think that with this, even with French lace, I can achieve a natural looking, not only obviously hair throughout the head, which looks absolutely 100% natural, except when it transitions between the top there and it goes back in with sort of a thinning, more thinning look. But I think that's going to be blocked from most people's eyes by 4 months of regrowth, 1.5 inches of hair at the top, which gives it sufficient thickness to conceal it. So yeah, in terms of that gap I kept on talking about, it's not as bad as it used to be. Now that I've pushed that back 3 millimeters, and the colours are matching as well. So this is medium density that I'm wearing now. Medium density French lace, colour number 4, medium dark brown, from lordhair.com. Just the S7 stock piece option, which I've cut out of that. Yeah, but like I say, soon I'll be trying on their Swiss lace, which will be medium light density. And I'll be looking at the lip, how much less it wants to grab onto a hairbrush or your fingers or something, and also whether that medium light density can be believably stuck on with Walker Ultra Hold, because I'm thinking in the summertime that would fail, definitely, because this thing glows like crazy once your body's over about 25 degrees, because the air temperature is over 25 degrees. But there's no other glue that works. This works fine in winter, but I think most glues would work fine in winter. Your objective in trying to find a good adhesive is to find what works well in summer and in water. They're the two challenges, and also that doesn't shine. There isn't really much more you need to ask of the glue. Just stick the hair to my scalp without any problems. In all weather conditions. Walker Ultra Hold does do that. It remains stuck on. So that's the first checkpoint, right? Most glues fail in even that. Second of all, so all water-based glues fail in that department. They just all fail. But there is a big problem with Walker Ultra Hold, and I've said it a million times, it's too fucking shiny. It is so shiny. It is the shiniest of all the glues, I think. And it becomes reactivated in heat. So your hair that's in any way sort of pressed down onto your scalp again by a hat or by leaning against the window or just tapping your head or brushing your hair or something, the hairs that are just normal hairs that are like part of your hairpiece, they'll press down flat temporarily against this now reactivated, totally soaking wet glue, which is soaking wet just from the heat because it's melted again. The hairpiece isn't going to come off your head due to the viscosity of this stuff. But given that it's melted, completely melted again, as if you just applied it because of the heat, that means that anything, like even if you just scratch your head or press your finger down onto your scalp, the hairs will now stick and you'll create this mushy, disgusting nest of glue and hairs in the summertime. And it'll just be, you'll try to pick them out, but there'll be this bubble bump that's gone outside of the netting now. And the best thing in that situation to do is say, thanks guys, I'm sorry, I just gotta go home and get something. And the thing is, you're gonna take a while because you've got to go and replace your entire hairpiece if you're even close to home at that time when you're out in the sunshine during the summertime. So you're probably better off kind of swimming in water or something when you're wearing Walker Ultra Hold in heat, just so that you can deactivate it to some extent, because the water would cool it down. And this would also apply if you were just kind of having a shower, I guess. A hot shower. Don't have long hot showers ever with a hairpiece. If you do, Just wet your hair when you need to wash it so it gets the minimum heat exposure. Even though this stuff will not come off and it will dry back down to normal, during that unsafe time, while your hair is drying, becoming less hot and so on, and the glue is becoming debloated, it has less, it's doing its job less effectively. So I recommend that you just don't, if you're having a cold shower, don't worry about it. You can shower as long as you want, like go for a swim, it doesn't matter. Except the hair glue will bloat a little bit, so you probably want to do that when you come out of the water, not back like that. Though this will hold it onto your head, your hairline's probably going to be maybe right around the front edge there. Start looking a little bit tacky. So you might want to just do that whenever you get out of the water forever. I haven't seen a better example of how to get out of the water with your hair flowing backwards. But the problem is with hot water is the same as summertime heat. Heat is the problem. Heat is the real problem. Heat is the main enemy, not water. Water is not the main enemy. For other glues, I think that water might be an enemy. But for acrylic glue, they don't care about water. After they dry, they're just back to normal again. The water just evaporates out of it. For water-based glues, I think it might get a little bit destroyed by water. If it's within a 24-hour period where you let air touch it, it has to change and harden and change its molecular structure or something while it's in contact with the atmosphere or something like that over a 24-hour period. But imagine having no showers for 24 hours. I'd often have 2 showers within a 24-hour period. So that's ridiculous. I don't think I could ever use it. But the thing is, because of the shine on this stuff, I might have to start exploring that kind of option. Ghost bond and stuff like that. I know there are special instructions on do that. Wait for 20 minutes to do that. Wait till it dries, basically. Do that. Wait again. Do just layers of it. But I find my fingers starting to grip in and stick to the layer before, and then it starts coming up a big peely bubble, and the whole thing becomes a huge mess. Whereas I apply this once, one level, I just get in the shower and go, right? Whereas that other stuff, like then wait 24 hours before you even shower. I don't know how to do that. It's just terrible. Yeah, so basically after you've used Walker Tape Ultra Hold, you can just get straight in the shower, no problem. Just heed those earlier warnings I told you about heat exposure, because it's okay to get it wet, but it's not okay to get it hot. This will glue back down to become a handpiece like it was at the beginning. Therefore, video's over.